We've been working together since 2009, probably around about 66 consultancy projects a year. So the not-for-profit, the commercial business project, and the international business consultancy project. So the clients give us a business question, which can be anything from supply chain to disruption to anything, where they want to know what to do. So you've got this question in front of you. How do you work with the students to come up with sensible conclusions and recommendations over the 3-month period? What's your approach?
Well, the first approach is to look at the client's brief, and typically the clients will label the problem. That's to say, they're describing it in words, they're classifying it, if you want a slightly grander way of talking about that. And the danger for a student is that when they've read a textbook, that's very often what textbooks do, they classify problems. They think they've done something if they simply classified a problem as a marketing problem or whatever it is. And the absolutely critical thing for a business is to get a decision and an order which a senior person can make. Recruit 10 salespeople, buy 5 million clicks off Google, whatever the driving number is. Business orders typically tend to be in numbers of people, numbers of actions, and numbers of target events required, and amounts of money. And the critical thing is the client is expecting a consultant, whether the client realizes it or not, to provide the missing, basically we call it data, dollars, deals. So what we're saying is, rather than just classifying sales, specify what's the level of sales, what's the product, what's the user group, what's the segment, typically, of customers. Market's too big. If it's a market, it's in the official statistics, people have stopped thinking about it. An emerging market segment, an emerging line of business is not yet going to be in the numbers. So the first critical thing is actually to get data. Identify your variables, get the data. And basically data is anything with a unit of measure. Again, it's something you could put into a budget, you could put into a set of orders to a company. If you're not giving your client a set of quantified amounts of money to invest, or a set of quantified allocations of staff time, quantified missions, quantified targets, quantified actions, all tested against data, then you're not actually giving the client anything that they can use. There isn't a business decision there isn't an investment. So data is absolutely critical. And it's the unexpected data you sometimes need to get, the data you're getting unexpectedly or failing to get unexpectedly. So you've got to dig quite hard. It isn't obvious sometimes from the client's question where you should be looking. Once you've got the data, you have to, of course, try and get money values in, what we call dollars. So you go from data, which is anything with a unit of measure. And if you're an engineer, you'll know what that means. You just specify what you're actually going to count. Then we go on to dollars. What's it counting us? What's it counting the buyer, what's it counting the distributor, right through the value chain. So data and dollars is the critical thing. Now we've gone from data to dollars, and that's in economics. And economics still isn't business. Economics is people sitting in a study and counting out the results of thousands and thousands of transactions by millions of businesses, not grouped in any particular way that matters to each of the individual businesses. So the atom of business is a deal. Business doesn't happen unless two sides strike a deal. They agree, then they're going to exchange some dollars for some services or stuff to certain specifications. So there's an exchange of dollars and or services and or materials. And you don't get a deal unless you have that. That is a deal. There is no business without a deal. So it's deals we actually have to find. So the end product of a consultancy project is showing the client where there's a pool of deals to attack, showing the client what quantified application of resources is going to be needed to claw some of that market off the competitors, and then actually going through to the deal chain. And a very exciting thing about a deal chain is that you're usually working with yesterday's deal chain. So major opportunity in business is to try to short circuit some of the deal chains, actually to get rid of some of those intermediate stages. Cut out 1, 2, 3, 4 distributors. That's the kind of thing that Amazon is doing with retail products, kind of thing that's being done with services. And again, you're in that case, you're again looking at what's the value that you can create. And the best deals create new value for the client, like giving you more time at home, giving you control over when you get your groceries, And very, very rigorous research is done by people like Amazon at the customer end to discover exactly what levels we're sensitive to and exactly what's going to please us. And then, of course, they do the same research, data dollars and if necessary deals at their operating end. What actually needs to happen inside our business to deliver that satisfaction that the customer wants at the other end. So again, it tends to be a quantified study. This is pretty tough stuff. So, in essence, clients' first request for consultancy is classified. It's a set of words, it's a set of names, the name, business plan. What you need to get at the end typically is some mix of data, what's happening there, what are the competitors doing, what are the customers doing, what's our operation doing, dollars, how do we make it more economic, and then discovering whether and how you can buy your way into the chain of deals that's happening. At that level, you've got business. Deals are happening, clients got something different, and money's coming out of the far end.
Thanks very much, Sid. That's absolutely amazing and incredible that clients can get so much consultancy for such a low price.